Switchback Noble from Boxing UK, sponsored by Supreme CBD. Here with Alex Krassyuk, friend of the channel. How you doing?
All good, thank you. A bit exhausted, but in high spirits.
High spirits. Last time we spoke, I think it was the AJ Fight Week, and you said, of course, Usyk does so much for his country, so much for his community, and he would love a homecoming. And here we are. He's about to have, well, closest thing to a homecoming, fighting in Poland. Just talk us through how Usyk's feeling about that.
It's been tough. We had to go through many talks, extremely many talks. And at the end, we had to take the decision and to take the fight to the purse bid. After it was taken to the purse bid, we won the purse bid, and we still had to go through the talks. Now, everything is signed, announced. Tickets go on sale on Friday noon. It's live on TNT Sports box office. It's going to be live on ESPN in America, in both Americas, and distributed around the world. So we are happy, exhausted but happy.
Of course, another British opponent. You've had the likes of Tony Bellew, Derek Chisora, Anthony Joshua ×2. At this point, he was potentially looking at fighting for undisputed. Is it a bit frustrating that it's a defense for a mandatory, not the undisputed fight you was aiming for last year?
Yeah, we still have two more Englishmen to get beaten. Daniel Dubois and Tyson Fury.
And of course, it seems like you've been in negotiations with Queensberry for some time, of course, before with the Fury fights, now with Dubois. Was there any roll-on effects after the breakdown of the Fury fight, having the talks with the Dubois fight?
Listen, first time I started talking to Dubois about Dubois fight with George Warren was in March, early this year, when we couldn't agree on Tyson Fury. And you know what happened next? After all negotiations, Tyson Fury broke down with the internet, browsing some underwear in a shopping mall, and saying that Usyk and his team is worth 30%. So he waited until the deadline, because the deadline was expiring 8 hours later, and he came up with a brilliant idea, an offer. But his bluff was called, and he was desperate. He didn't know what to do. He didn't train. He wasn't fit. And they called his bluff, and what can you do? You have to keep the word if you're a man. But boxing-wise, it makes very small sense to make the fight happen. That's why you have to try to find reasons to postpone it, to reschedule it, or to try to avoid it. I lost actually the idea of my answer because I recalled all those issues that we had. So with Daniel Dubois, this was actually a long time ago. Now we are in the position to make it happen.
So of course, Daniel Dubois, he's a young upcoming heavyweight, looking to prove himself. But do you still have eyes on the undisputed, or is that something which you think probably won't happen?
Undisputed is our goal and our next step.
Regardless of who holds the belt, because for all we know, Francis Ngannou could be the opponent who holds the belt end of next month.
Usyk just made an offer to Conor McGregor. He said, I saw Conor put on some weight on his body. Why don't we fight on Wembley?
Usyk versus Conor McGregor. I think I'll sell out. I think it's got a good ring to it. Put it in Ireland.
Probably, yes. I don't know.
And of course, lastly, I wanted to speak on what were your thoughts when you heard that the Fury Ngannou fight got called the other day over Usyk Fury for undisputed? What were your thoughts on that one?
I knew this long before. And what are my thoughts? The man is doing, squeezing the world, like trying to get as much money as possible. It's his choice, it's his strategy, it's his direction. I don't respect, if I were him, I wouldn't act this way, but I'm not him. That's why he's the one to take the decision, and he's the one to determine the values for himself. If money is so valuable, then he has to go. He's probably moving in a proper direction. If I'm his manager, I don't know, and I'm concentrated on money, probably I will recommend him to do so. But from the boxing perspective, it's shit.
Of course, just back to the fight now. Of course, Usyk, Dubois. How do you see this one going out? You've managed Usyk from the beginning, or you've promoted him from the beginning of his career. You've seen a lot of him. How does this one plan out?
You mean the fight?
The fight.
How it's gonna end up?
Yeah.
I'm not a big fortune teller. I'm not even telling my hunch or feeling now. I'm just telling like a boxing expert. We'll just knock the guy out.
Usyk by knockout?
Yeah, Usyk will knock Daniel Dubois out.
Well, statement. He's got the experience, but as we say, Dubois has got the youth, and maybe he might have a few tricks up his sleeve, not prepared for. But that's boxing in the day, isn't it?
You can take a punch from your girlfriend and get down. So you can never be prepared for a punch.
I hope not.
But that is the difference, because Usyk is in a training camp and getting himself prepared for anything. That's why I think Daniel Dubois will be grateful to Usyk because Usyk is in a training camp and getting himself prepared for anything. That's why I think Daniel Dubois will be grateful to Usyk for getting all that experience that he will carry out from the fight. And that's the point.
Well, like I said, from the press conference today, it was very respectful. Everyone seemed to get along. There's been a lot of communications between the camps, so I guess we're all very familiar. So the fight sales itself, Unified Heavyweight Championship, happened in Poland, and may the best one win. Alex, thank you for your time. Friend of the channel, Steve says, send his regards.
Tell my regards to Steve.
Thank you.
All the best.
This is Rack Noble from Boxing UK, sponsored by Supreme CBD. Here with Alex Krassyuk, friend of the channel. How you doing?
All good, thank you. A bit